Hi Taurus, welcome to my channel. I'm here to do your you and them reading for your love interest for July 27th through August 3rd of 2017. Please like and share and subscribe and comment. I love reading your comments, so thank you so much for that. If you would like a personal reading from me, then my email address is in the description box. It's elisemarietarot88@gmail.com, and remember that Elise is spelled Eliise because my mom was probably drunk when she came up with it. So I'm going to go ahead and jump into this. The first card that I pulled for you on your side is the King of Wands. So right now you are very charismatic, you are very in control, and you're loving freedom. You definitely are loving some freedom, or kind of leading. I mean, it's a born leader card, is the King of Wands, but I feel like it's leading to freedom, like making it, I don't know how to explain it in a way that I'm seeing it, but I feel like it is, you're leading with the purpose of creating acceptance for freedom. So it's like you're leading by example for the other person, and to let them know that this freedom goes both ways and it's okay, because you're going to be your own man or woman during this time, and you want them to be their own man or woman, and then the time that you spend together is you being together, but you want to maintain that balance of freedom, or lives that are not enmeshed with each other necessarily. Not to say that they don't combine, but you want your partner to have their own life and you to have your own life. However, I do kind of get the feeling too that there could be some control issues going on there, where it's kind of like, for some of you, it may be that it's okay for one person to have their freedom, but it's not so much okay for the other person. Like there's an expectation that one person has to answer to the other person, and then one person doesn't. I get kind of a feeling of imbalance between the two partners, and the reason I say that is because the next card that I have is the Six of Pentacles, and this with the King of Wands is definitely telling me that one person is kind of in control and the other one is more submissive to the person that's in control. And I feel like, Taurus, for a lot of you that's in control, or you who's kind of calling the shots. The next card that I have for you is the Five of Pentacles. So you've got this Six of Pentacles and the Five of Pentacles. So you're moving from pretty stable and control energy to kind of an insecurity almost. And it could be that some of you are dealing with some issues of insecurity, or some of you are dealing with issues of not feeling left out so much. I don't pick up that it's so much feeling left out, but it's kind of like wondering what the other person is up to, or some kind of suspicion. That's kind of what I'm getting. Like, you feel like you're not getting the whole story or all of the information from the other person. And I feel like there's not, with your spread here on this side, I don't feel like there's any kind of malice or dishonesty. It's just kind of, you are your own person, and you feel very secure in expressing that and making sure that your partner knows that. But then at the same time, I feel like there is a little bit of suspicion regarding your partner and whether they are behaving with their own, being their own person, whether they're behaving or whether they're being, I feel like it's kind of like, for some of you, that you are loyal and that you are, still trustworthy in the relationship, because you've always kind of been this way, where you do your own thing sometimes, and then when you're together, you're together. But it doesn't involve any kind of malicious behavior as far as the relationship goes. So I feel like you might be with this other person, you might be in a place where you know where your head is, but you don't know where their head is. It could be that you don't know where they stand, or if they're, dealing with other people, or it could be that you're feeling suffocated too. Like, this could be a little bit vice versa. This could be that you're feeling suffocated and need more freedom, and you need less probing questions or less like an interrogation. And so you may be feeling, some suspicion here of what is their end game if they're going to question me over everything. If I'm going to be punished anyways, I might as well just do it. You know what I mean? I feel like that could be for some of you. That could be the energy that's going on too, especially with the King of Wands, because he doesn't like to be contained, and he will fight against the containment. Like, he'll fight against any idea of having to answer to somebody. And so I feel like for some of you, that could be what you're dealing with too. For the other person, the first card that I pulled for them is the Ace of Cups. And it's definitely a feeling of love or new love or a rekindling of love that has existed between the two of you. This person has deep feelings of connection in this relationship or in the dynamic between the two of you, but I also feel like there is almost a sense of them being a little bit dramatic. And I say that because the next card that I have for you right after this Ace of Cups is the Ten of Swords. And this is a heartbreak card. It's kind of a betrayal card. But the feeling that I'm getting from it is more along the lines of they're being overly dramatic, or a martyr. Like, somebody is playing the martyr in a situation like, oh, I don't understand how you could do that. I've given you so much love, and I've given you so, all of this time, and I do everything for you, and it's all, them, and their expectation from you, an expectation. And I feel like that makes a lot of sense with this feeling of, if you are the one that's feeling suffocated, it makes a lot of sense, because nobody likes a martyr. Like, for real, nobody likes a martyr. The last thing that you want to deal with the rest of your life, or in your romantic life, is a martyr. You just can't win with that person, no matter what. It's going to be nothing but feeding into their martyr mentality. There's nothing worse than dealing with a victim 24/7 who's a victim of everything. Like, there's always a crisis. There's always some reason that they've been slighted. There's always something to complain about. So I feel like that could be too with this Ace of Cups and the Ten of Swords. I definitely pick up that dynamic. Yes, the Ace of Cups is a very positive card for love, but as soon as I saw it, the first thing that I was thinking is this is drama. This is exaggerated. It's, somebody who makes a mountain out of a molehill. And so I feel like you could be dealing with somebody who is suspicious of you, or not even suspicious. They feel wounded by you for things that are trivial or insignificant, that really aren't. There was no malice behind it. There was no trying to hurt them. They just automatically react with that kind of energy. That's what I'm kind of getting from those cards there. And the next card that I have for that person is the Four of Cups. So again, I kind of feel like this is the woe is me feeling, like, oh, I'm gonna shut off. I'm gonna close down to punish. That's what I feel like. I feel like this person is closing down emotionally, or trying to make it appear that they're closing down emotionally, shutting themselves off from you to punish you for nothing or for something that you would consider to be nothing. And so I feel like that in the Four of Cups is right across from this Five of Pentacles. So I definitely feel like that's what it is you may be feeling left out in the cold a little bit by this person, because you can't really wrap your head around why they're acting this way, or why they're all of a sudden shutting down to you, because you really don't feel like you've done anything wrong or anything to deserve that. And so that's kind of the energy that I'm picking up on this side. I feel like you're dealing with somebody who is in a phase of feeling either victimized or like a martyr, and they may have very genuine, true feelings of love, but the way that they are projecting themselves right now is very much like a person who has a chip on their shoulder, or a person who you have to prove yourself to, and like they have an expectation that you should want to prove yourself to them, or something along those lines. So that's kind of what I'm getting from the other person. The central card that I pulled for you is the Chariot. So the Chariot in this particular situation, it's something that's been set into motion that demands a completion. Like, it is a victory card, it's a positive card, but once that momentum is going, it's going to be required to come to some sort of completion, whether that's a new beginning or whether that's going your separate ways. It definitely is something that says whatever energy is being consistently engaged in has to come to completion. There has to be some kind of closure on that so that it can either move to the next level or y'all can go your separate ways. I also think that with the Chariot card, like I said, it is a victory card, so you can get what you want out of this situation, but it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be this, you don't have to work hard for it and it just all of a sudden happens. If there is a strong enough connection between you and this other person, I feel like this Ten of Swords and this Four of Cups is a phase. I don't feel like this is how they are always going to be or how they are always going to present themselves. I do feel like that's going to come to a completion, but I don't feel like it's going to be easy, and I don't feel like it's going to be without you having to make some compromises that you don't necessarily feel like you would need to make. If it's worth it to you, though, then this is a victory. Like, you can get what you want at the end of the day, but it's going to take, like I said, some effort here. And again, with the Chariot in the middle of the Six of Pentacles and the Ten of Swords, it's a feeling, once again, like I said, of an imbalance. This is somebody who is dominating the relationship, or it could be that both of you are dominating in different ways. It could be that you are dominating as a leader. You're trying to lead the relationship, or trying to, you lead, they follow, and they're following your lead because they trust you. But I feel like for this person, it's domineering, almost like it's your way or the highway. And I feel like for some of you, that is kind of the attitude that you're taking because of this King of Wands here. It could be that you're saying it's my way or the highway, and if I'm gonna go, I have no reason to stay if you can't meet those needs for me, or meet the need to. And I don't feel like it's an asshole kind of my way or the highway. I feel like this could be you putting your foot down, especially with this phase that they've been going through of maybe being overly dramatic or being a martyr in this situation. I feel like it's you kind of standing your ground and putting your foot down on it and saying, I'm not. You recognize that if you don't do something about it now and fast, that's going to continue, and that's not something that you're willing to continue with. It's not an energy that you want in your life. So I feel like there is kind of that feeling of imbalance where one person is in control and one person is calling the shots, and the other person feels like a victim because of that. So I feel like that's this Chariot too can also indicate that even, like with this Six of Pentacles and Ten of Swords on either side of the Chariot, it is indicating that it can bring together opposing forces. You have opposing energies right now. One person is feeling very strong in their energy, and one person is, definitely feeling like they are okay. This other person is feeling a whole lot of victimization, or like they, woe is me. I keep getting that. Woe is me. Woe is me. I'm, I do everything. I've done everything. What else could I possibly do? It's kind of giving me a headache, to be honest, even just reading it, because it's like, I just am not good with martyrs. Y'all, I'm not good with martyrs. So I feel like for a lot of you, you're dealing with that energy, and this Chariot is saying it can bring together these two opposing forces back into balance, but it, again, is not going to be an easy process. This isn't something that's just going to change overnight, and it's going to take patience, extreme patience. I feel like for a lot of you, you're dealing with a water sign. I'm getting a lot of Cancer here. It also could be an air sign, and then with you embodying the King of Wands energy, it definitely could be a fire sign too, and obviously it could be an earth sign because of the Pentacles. But I am seeing specifically, I'm seeing Cancer, I'm seeing Aries, and And another Taurus. I'm seeing another Taurus or a Capricorn too. But so those, again, don't really pay as much attention to the signs because it could be any person. They could just be embodying this energy right now. But I really do feel like for a lot of you, this martyr over here is somebody who is likely a water sign, or they have water in their chart, because that's very much it's very much kind of a manipulative feel on this side, and the poor me, you know, why does this always happen to me, or things are always so horrible for me, and they're in this slump where they're feeling really sorry for themselves. So I'm going to try and get some clarification on the Chariot, the Central. Please clarify this Chariot card for Taurus for July 27th through August 3rd. For Taurus and their love interest. Please clarify the Chariot card for... Okay. Alright. Alright, so the Chariot card is clarified by the High Priestess. So I feel like this High Priestess on top of the Chariot is calling for major balance and quickly. I feel like it's calling for, you need to be able to be the bigger person and rise above this, and if you want to help this person, you know, move up to your level, then there has to be an absolute balance here. So you may have to, that's what I was saying, you may have to compromise a little bit on it, even though you don't feel like you should have to. It may be that they need to see you give a little in order for them to respond with the love and trust and acceptance that you're looking for, or that you would appreciate. Because I feel like this High Priestess here, she's rising above this situation because she sees the bigger picture. This situation to her is insignificant and trivial, so it really doesn't harm her to make a compromise, because it's not genuinely a compromise. It's more along the lines of getting over a hurdle, and she recognizes that. And I feel like with the Chariot underneath that, it needs to happen pretty quickly in order for you to be able to bring these two opposing forces together. But she remains in balance the entire time. Like, she remains true to herself. And I feel like that's why I'm saying that the compromise she recognizes is not really a compromise, or not really a failure, or saying that you are wrong. It's you kind of throwing the other person a bone, because that is what's going to get them over that hurdle to be able to open up to you. Right now they're very closed off, like I said, with this Four of Cups here. So all in all, it's really not a bad reading. It's just that you're dealing with some BS right now. This is really just some of life's BS that throws at you, you know, when you're dealing with an emotional partner, or a partner who is going through this period of time where they're very focused on themselves. And I don't feel like it's necessarily that they are it's not that they're a selfish person or a bad person. We all go through these periods of times where we're very self-centered, and that's just kind of what this is right now. And I feel like if you are able to be the bigger person, or to give a little bit of what it is that you know that they're digging for. You know how people fish for compliments or whatever. Like, you can tell when somebody is digging for you to do something, and our immediate reaction is to dig our heels in and not do, because, you know, nobody likes to be forced, or it's like a salesman who's trying way too hard to sell you something, and even if you were going to buy it in the first place, you decide not to buy it because you're just tired of trying to be sold to. But I feel like in this situation, it's one of those things where if you can give a little to them, you know, overselling this martyr idea, or overselling their exaggeration or emotional manipulation a little bit, then they'll be able to snap out of it. I feel like they'll be able to come out of that energy if you're able to give a little bit, because that's what they're looking for. And it's appeasing that, you know, that deep-seated kind of primal need that they have to have the stability or security or confirmation of reassurance. That's what it is. It's reassurance. They need that reassurance. And so I feel like if you give that to them, they'll be able to get over this hurdle. So that's the reading for this period of time. And then I'll see y'all at the beginning of August. Thank you.